Catherine will speak on my behalf. Mrs. Meghan Markle has repeatedly written to the palace seeking our intervention in the Epstein matter, but, like Andrew, she must face her own consequences.
Meghan expected a difficult conversation when she arrived at Kensington Palace that morning. What she did not expect was silence. Her security pass still worked. The corridor looked unchanged. But when the Duchess of Sussex opened the door to the office that had once carried her name, she found bare shelves, empty desks, disconnected telephones, and sealed boxes waiting against the wall. The palace had not summoned her to leave. It had already removed her. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Meghan reached the palace shortly after 9, believing she had been called to settle letters, patronages, and the remaining duties of the Sussex household. The household was the royal team managing official work, staff, schedules, and public engagements. Harry was not beside her. No warning had reached him, leaving her to enter alone and face a decision already completed. The empty room spoke first. Palace staff had removed photographs, briefing folders, computers, stationery, clothing, gifts, and handwritten notes. Everything sat inside numbered boxes without her approval. Meghan stepped toward the place where her desk had stood and found pale marks in the carpet. That absence struck harder than dismissal. A written order could be challenged. An empty office meant the argument had ended before she could speak. Eleanor Ashford entered with a clipboard, but the senior palace administrator could not hold Meghan's gaze. She supervised official transfers, yet even she seemed disturbed by this one. Meghan asked who had authorized the removal. Eleanor said the command had passed through official channels and was marked for immediate execution. Her words sounded controlled. Her lowered eyes revealed something colder. Meghan noticed a cream envelope on the windowsill. Her name appeared across the front. Inside, she found no apology and no explanation. The message ordered her to attend a private meeting elsewhere in the palace within 30 minutes. Eleanor admitted the office had been emptied before dawn. A small team had worked under confidentiality rules. Cabinet locks were changed. Digital access was suspended. Even the Sussex insignia, the symbol identifying their official office, disappeared from the door before most employees arrived. Meghan demanded one final answer. Who stood above the order? Eleanor hesitated, then said the command had been approved at the highest level. Meghan closed the envelope slowly. This was not a mistake. It was a royal verdict, and someone had made certain she would discover it this way. With her belongings boxed and her authority erased, Meghan walked toward the private meeting, knowing someone inside the family had already decided what place, if any, remained for her. The cleared office was not merely a room. It represented every unresolved argument between Meghan, Harry, William, Catherine, and the royal household. Each empty shelf carried the memory of a promise that had collapsed. Each sealed box held more than documents. It held ambition, rejection, loyalty, and resentment. Before Meghan could confront the person responsible, she had to understand that the decision had not emerged from one disagreement. It came from a family already divided. Meghan felt the loss immediately because the Kensington office had been more than a workplace. It had given the Duchess of Sussex, the title used by Prince Harry's wife, a recognized place inside the monarchy. Speeches were shaped there. Charitable plans were debated there. Losing it meant losing the last proof that her ideas still belonged within the institution. Harry received her message moments later. The prince read the words twice. They cleared everything. His jaw tightened, but anger was only part of what he felt. He wanted to defend Meghan, yet he knew the order could not have moved forward without touching William, Charles, or both. That knowledge pulled him between his wife and the family he feared losing. William sat elsewhere with an unopened briefing folder before him. The prince believed the shared Kensington arrangement had become impossible after trust broke down repeatedly. Still, the future king could not escape the memory of Harry beside him in easier years. He felt fury toward the Sussexes, but beneath it sat grief, heavy and unwanted. Catherine learned that Meghan had arrived while speaking with an aide. The Princess of Wales, the title held by the wife of the heir to the throne, stopped mid-sentence and asked whether any warning had been given. When the aide said no, Catherine looked away. She understood the need for separation, yet the method felt harsher than the decision. Charles had reviewed the recommendation the night before. The king did not create the order, but he allowed the royal household, the staff structure managing official duties, to carry it out. His silence gave the move authority while keeping him away from the first explosion. Palace officials had planned the timing. By clearing the room before Meghan arrived, they made negotiation meaningless. The Duchess could challenge words. She could not challenge an office that had already vanished. Eleanor finally hinted that William was not the only force behind it. A private incident involving Catherine had changed the calculation. Meghan tightened her grip on the envelope. As she approached the meeting room prepared to confront the prince, the true origin of the decision waited in one exchange that had turned tension into a point of no return. 3 weeks before the office was cleared, the royal family gathered for what should have been a routine planning discussion. No cameras were present. No public announcement was expected. Yet one sentence spoken during that meeting changed everything. Catherine heard it. William reacted to it. Harry defended it. And Meghan refused to withdraw it. From that moment forward, the Sussex office was no longer viewed as a difficult department requiring reform. It was treated as a threat requiring removal. Meghan entered the private Kensington meeting determined to secure control over a joint mental health initiative. The project was designed to show unity between the two couples and prove that the younger generation could work together. Catherine listened as the Duchess argued that palace delays were weakening the campaign. Then Meghan said the Princess of Wales's seniority, meaning her higher position as the heir's wife, was being used to silence every alternative idea. Catherine closed the folder before her. She asked whether Meghan truly believed she had blocked the work on purpose. The Duchess answered that intention no longer mattered, because the result was the same. Catherine did not raise her voice, but the accusation wounded her. She had believed restraint protected the family. Meghan saw that same restraint as control. William stepped in sharply. The prince told Meghan that disagreement did not justify threatening the monarchy with public embarrassment. Harry immediately defended his wife, accusing his brother of valuing procedure more than people. Their voices rose. Catherine asked both men to stop, yet the quietness of her plea made the rupture feel even deeper. Meghan then placed several printed emails on the table. She said she had preserved every rejected proposal, unanswered question, and delayed response. The Duchess never threatened to release them, but William understood the warning. If the project split publicly, those records could turn a family dispute into evidence of two rival royal operations fighting for authority. Harry gathered the papers and left with Meghan. Neither looked back. Catherine remained with William after the door closed. The princess placed her pen down with a trembling hand and said she no longer believed the two households could function beneath one roof. William heard no triumph in her voice. He heard exhaustion. William acted that evening. Through a confidential written request, the future king ordered a review of the Sussex office's staff, security access, records, and rooms. The review was meant to measure risk. Instead, it became the path toward removal. Now those consequences sat packed inside numbered boxes. And Meghan was approaching William without aids, smiles, or ceremony, ready to confront the man who had turned one bitter conversation into a final royal verdict. When Meghan enters the private drawing room, William is already waiting. There are no secretaries seated beside him, no communications officers, and no family members prepared to soften the exchange. The prince remains standing. The Duchess does not offer a greeting. For several seconds, neither speaks. Then Meghan places the cream envelope on the table and asks the question that has been building since she saw the empty room. "Did you order this?" William answers without looking away at last. He confirms that he approved the operational recommendation, the formal plan used by palace officials to close the office and carry out the transfer. The prince says the decision followed weeks of review and was never designed as a personal ambush. Meghan rejects that distinction immediately. Her belongings were removed without warning. Her staff were displaced. Her name vanished before she was allowed to speak. Meghan keeps her voice steady, but the humiliation breaks through. She asks why she was permitted to walk into a room already stripped bare. The Duchess describes the pale marks where her desk had stood, and tells William that the method was not only efficient, it was cruel. Someone wanted her to feel that the palace could erase her position before she even reached the door. William's anger rises, then falters. The future king says every private attempt at reconciliation became another argument about loyalty, control, or betrayal. He admits that he no longer recognizes his relationship with Harry. The prince had once believed conflict could be contained within the family. Now he sees only two brothers moving further apart each time they try to speak. Meghan asks whether Catherine demanded the removal. William pauses. He refuses to place responsibility on his wife and insists that the final approval belonged to him. Yet the hesitation tells the Duchess enough. Catherine's judgment had shaped the recommendation, even if the princess never signed the order herself. Meghan demands immediate access to the office and its records. William tells her the closure is permanent. The Sussex materials will move through authorized channels, meaning approved palace staff will control how official files are returned or stored. The former rooms will be reassigned. No appeal can restore what has already been dismantled. Then Meghan delivers the warning he was not prepared to hear. Harry is already coming to Kensington. William's expression changes. This is no longer a dispute over desks, files, or authority. Within minutes, he will face the brother he has been grieving, while that brother is still alive. Meghan leaves without offering her hand. Footsteps strike the corridor beyond the door, and the family conflict moves toward a battle over royal power itself. William approved the office closure, but even the heir could not execute such a sweeping decision alone. Access cards had been cancelled. Confidential files had been transferred, staff contracts had been reviewed, and a recognized royal household had been physically dismantled before sunrise. That required more than one angry brother. It required a chain of authority stretching from Kensington Palace to the sovereign. At the end of that chain sat Charles, holding the document that could have stopped everything. Charles received William's recommendation through administrators, security officers, legal advisors, and the King's private office. Each department confirmed that the Sussex operation could be closed without changing Harry's place within the family, provided official records and protected correspondence remained under palace control. A royal household was the staff structure that managed a working royal's duties, communications, security, and responsibilities. Closing one therefore meant removing a center of influence. Charles understood the danger described before him. Two competing communication teams could issue conflicting messages, challenge one another's authority, and leave the public uncertain about who spoke for the crown. The crown meant the monarchy as an institution, not merely the person wearing it. What looked like a family quarrel had become a struggle over command. Late that evening, Charles sat alone with the authorization. The king read Harry's name at the top of the page and removed his glasses. He did not sign. He remembered a younger son who had once searched his face for reassurance, not permission to break away. Charles asked whether the closure could be suspended instead. His private secretary warned that delay would deepen confusion and increase the risk of sensitive material moving beyond palace control. The monarch pressed his fingertips against the desk. Duty demanded speed, but fatherhood begged for one more conversation. Charles added a condition before agreeing. None of Meghan's personal belongings could be destroyed, and Harry had to retain a direct route for recovering private family correspondence. The king wanted the institution protected, yet he was trying to save a fragile connection beneath the paperwork. Then Charles signed. The monarch authorized the final transfer but did not call his son. William and the household would carry the confrontation, while the king remained behind the authority of the document. That choice protected his official position. It also created a wound no procedure could hide. Harry reached Kensington and was shown the authorization trail. The prince saw his father's approval and understood everything. Charles had known. Charles could have stopped it. He had chosen not to. What began as Meghan's humiliation now became Harry's reckoning with both his brother and his father, and the consequences were spreading beyond the empty room. Harry enters Kensington expecting to defend Meghan against an administrative insult. Instead, he discovers a completed separation, carrying William's approval and Charles's consent. The shock does not silence him. It sharpens him. Within minutes, doors close, voices rise, and staff members retreat from the corridor. Yet beneath the prince's fury lies something more painful than the loss of an office. He believes his family has erased a shared future without allowing him to witness the decision. Meghan takes Harry into the cleared room before he confronts William. The Duke of Sussex, the title held by the king's younger son, walks from wall to wall and opens each bare cupboard as if evidence of a mistake might still be hiding there. Then he finds their framed wedding photograph wrapped in packing paper. The prince stops speaking. Meghan watches his anger harden into disbelief. Eleanor Ashford oversees the next stage while former Sussex employees receive sealed instructions. Some are sent to other departments. Others are directed toward formal exit meetings. Eleanor sees one young aide remove a name badge from a drawer and finally understands the scale of the decision. This is not only a family rupture. Careers, loyalties, and years of work are being broken apart with it. No one had asked those employees what the royal decision would cost them once the doors closed. Harry enters the meeting room and demands to know why William never called him. The prince answers that earlier conversations ended in accusations, threats, or sudden departures. Harry strikes the table and says silence was chosen because the palace feared his response. William does not flinch, but the future king's restraint carries its own fury. Meghan stays behind with the boxes. The Duchess opens one and discovers handwritten notes from the earliest charitable meetings, including plans that were never announced. She lowers herself to the floor and holds one page for several seconds. Her anger finally gives way to grief. Then Meghan notices something missing. A blue briefing file containing correspondence about the failed joint initiative has vanished. Palace staff insist every official document was moved into secure storage, meaning restricted rooms used to protect sensitive records. But no one can identify where the folder went. Catherine arrives after hearing the brothers through the adjoining corridor. The princess tells Harry the closure was meant to stop all four of them from destroying what remained through constant institutional conflict. Then she turns to Meghan and asks for a private conversation. Meghan hesitates, then agrees. Harry and William remain divided by a table neither will cross, while she follows Catherine into a smaller room where royal rank can no longer hide personal pain. For months, Meghan and Catherine had spoken through aides, schedules, press strategies, and the guarded language of royal duty. Now they sit alone. No private secretary records their words. No husband interrupts. No palace official decides which feeling is acceptable. Between them rests the blue folder everyone believed was missing. Catherine has brought it herself. When she places it on the table, Meghan realizes this meeting is not about recovering paperwork. It is about finally naming what broke between them. Catherine explains that the file was never lost. The princess says it had been sent to her office for review before the removal, and remained there under restricted handling. That meant only authorized staff could access it. Inside rests the complete record of the disputed mental health project, including emails proving that both women misunderstood the motives behind each other's decisions. Catherine returns to the meeting that changed everything. She tells Meghan that the accusation about seniority made years of restraint sound like calculated manipulation. The Duchess answers that repeated delays had made her feel invisible. She believed direct confrontation was the only language the palace would hear. Meghan does not excuse the damage. She admits that threatening public separation in front of William and Harry turned a professional dispute into a family ultimatum. The Duchess still believes her frustration was justified, but she accepts that the timing forced Catherine into a defensive position and made compromise almost impossible. Catherine lowers her voice. The princess concedes that she relied too heavily on protocol, the rules guiding royal work and communication. She assumed Meghan would eventually adapt. Instead of speaking directly, she allowed concern to travel through staff until silence became another form of rejection. Then Catherine reveals, through the confidential meeting record inside the folder, that she proposed one mediated discussion before the office was closed. A mediated meeting would have placed a neutral advisor between both sides. Charles's advisors rejected it, warning that the institutional risk had become too great. Meghan finally understands that Catherine influenced the outcome, but never demanded the Dawn removal. Meghan reads the final pages and makes her choice. She will not fight to restore the Kensington office. Returning would only rebuild the same conflict. The Duchess asks for her personal materials, control over her future work, and a promise that no decision will again be delivered through humiliation. Catherine agrees to support a respectful transfer. Yet both women know privacy is collapsing. Staff saw the boxes. Vehicles entered the service court. Journalists are gathering outside. The private conflict has found honesty, but beyond the gates, one departing van is about to turn a family rupture into a national spectacle. By late afternoon, the palace can no longer contain the story. A photographer captures a gray removal van, leaving Kensington Palace through the service entrance. Through its rear window, one box is visible with the words, "Sussex Office, Personal," written across the side. That single image travels faster than any official explanation. Within an hour, the empty room becomes a symbol onto which the public projects every argument about loyalty, race, marriage, hierarchy, and the future of the monarchy. Broadcasters rebuild the morning carefully. They confirm that Meghan entered Kensington after palace staff had already emptied the office. Correspondents described the closure as an unprecedented physical separation between the Sussex operation and the central royal household, the staff network that coordinates royal duties and access. That distinction matters because the palace has not merely moved furniture. It has removed royal authority from the building. Palace officials release a statement. They say administrative arrangements have been reorganized after a review of working structures. The wording avoids the confrontation, the dawn operation, and the fact that Meghan discovered everything only after she arrived. The silence deepens the story. It makes the public search harder for what has been hidden. Harry watches the van appear on television beneath the caption, "Palace clears Sussex office." The Duke turns off the screen and says the language makes his wife look expelled rather than separated. Meghan hears him, but she does not answer immediately. She knows one angry response could confirm the very image the palace has allowed to form. Charles receives a media summary showing that viewers see the decision as cold and deliberately humiliating. The king reads headlines silently. Then he tells his private secretary that the palace protected procedure, but failed to protect dignity. The monarch understands that official control has produced a public wound. Mourning brings the image that defines everything. A fictional newspaper places the cream envelope beside Kensington Palace under the headline, "The room was empty before she arrived." Crowds gather near the gates. Some defend royal discipline. Others leave handwritten messages supporting Meghan and condemning the method. Catherine urges William to approve a second statement. The princess wants confirmation that personal property will be returned, and that the Sussexes will participate in the transfer. The prince agrees, softening the language of banishment. Meghan chooses a different weapon. She writes a declaration and shows it to Harry. He reads the final sentence and realizes she has chosen closure over retaliation. With the world expecting another royal war, Meghan prepares to define the empty office not as the place where she was defeated, but as the place where she finally stopped asking permission to belong. The final act does not occur before cameras or beneath palace chandeliers. It happens when Meghan returns to Kensington to collect the last box. The office door carries no name. The furniture has not returned. Yet the room no longer shocks her. She looks at the pale space where her desk stood and understands that the palace removed more than her workplace. It ended the illusion that she could secure acceptance by fighting harder inside a structure determined to contain her. Meghan receives the final settlement. Their belongings will be returned, while correspondence remains archived under royal security procedures, the protected rules used to store sensitive palace records. The Sussex office is permanently dissolved, and its rooms are assigned elsewhere. Nothing offers restoration. The separation is complete. William meets Harry without advisors. The brothers do not repair what has broken, but they agree that decisions involving family messages or personal property must be delivered directly. Charles later acknowledges in a household note that the method caused unnecessary pain, although the king still believes separation was unavoidable. The admission does not erase the wound, but it names it. Eleanor Ashford brings Meghan the final box. Inside are photographs, handwritten speeches, and the framed wedding image Harry found wrapped in paper. The Duchess thanks Eleanor, recognizing that the administrator carried out an order she did not create. Meghan separates the people from the system controlling them. Catherine waits near the doorway. The princess does not apologize for every disagreement, and Meghan does not surrender every grievance. Still, both admit that silence and suspicion replaced conversation. Catherine offers her hand. The Duchess accepts it. The gesture is restrained, imperfect, and real. Meghan releases her declaration in writing. She confirms that the Kensington chapter has ended, and that her work will continue independently. She does not attack the family or deny the pain. Instead, she says an empty room cannot erase the purpose created inside it. Charles orders future transitions to include direct notice before physical action. William accepts that authority without compassion can look like punishment, regardless of the reasoning. Meghan leaves without an office, but no longer needs one to prove her worth. Harry walks beside her, carrying the cost of separation. William remains behind, burdened by a decision he believes was necessary. The monarchy preserved its structure, but exposed the price of silent power. There is no battle beyond the gates. The office is gone, the chapter is closed. Meghan was removed from the room, but the palace could not remove her voice. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.